First up, we have suitcase squats. We'll have our feet about hip distance apart with the weights by our sides. And the goal here is to sit as low as we can as we keep our heels into the ground and our chest as tall as possible. Be sure to keep your core engaged as you sit into each squat to ensure that there's no tension in your lower back. All right, let's get to it. All right, nice work. Next up, we have suitcase deadlifts. Again, we're gonna keep our feet about hip distance apart with the weights by our sides. And the goal here is to press our hips back as far as possible while keeping your core engaged and the back flat. A big cue here is to keep most of the weight in your heels, and this is going to ensure that you're using your hamstrings and your glutes for this exercise. All right, next up we have front lunges. We're gonna step forward with our front leg at about 90 degrees, and that back leg is gonna float just above the ground. A big key here is to keep your chest as tall as possible as you go into each lunge, but if you struggle with lunges, no worries. You can follow me by doing a split squat, and this will take a lot of balance out of the exercise. If you're following me with split squats, we're gonna switch in 3 seconds. Alright, next up we have an alternating single leg hinge. This is similar to a regular deadlift, except we're going to do this with a single leg. Again, the goal is to press our hips back as far as we can, except we're going to tap our opposite toe to the ground. The goal here is to keep the weight into your heels to ensure that your hamstrings and your glutes are doing most of the work with this exercise. Next up, we have a neutral shoulder press. We're going to start by squeezing our glutes and engaging our core, and this is going to ensure that we're not arching our back as we press the weight toward the sky. We'll keep our elbows tight to our bodies at the bottom, we'll press the weight up, lock the elbows out fully, and then slowly return the weight down by our sides. Be sure to focus on this with each rep. Alright, next up we have neutral grip bent over rows. We're going to start in a loaded deadlift position, and we're going to have most of the weight in our heels as we press our hips back. Keep your chest facing the floor and your back flat and core engaged as you pull the weight up. The goal here is to try to squeeze our shoulder blades as much as possible with each rep. Alright, next up we're going to keep it simple with some neutral grip curls. We're going to start with the weights by our sides and our elbows tight to our body as we pull the weight up. The big key here is not to swing the weights as you come down, but control the weights to ensure that you're getting the most tension out of those biceps with each rep. Next up, we're going to hit the floor with some neutral chest presses. We'll start with our back flat and our heels tucked toward our body. And the goal here is to keep our elbows tight to our body as we press the weight up and down. The big key here is to squeeze the chest at the top of the movement, and you should feel your chest and your triceps as you go throughout this exercise. Alright, next up, we're going to stay in that position and drop to a single weight as we go into the loaded crunches. The goal here is to press the weight up toward the ceiling and really press your belly button through the floor as you engage your abs. By pressing the weight up toward the ceiling, this is going to show that you're engaging your abs and taking a lot of tension out of your neck and your upper back.
Like the